one day. A caravan of strange wanderers from the south entered the narrow cobbled streets of Ulthar. The sky darkened as if sensing their arrival. Dark wanderers they were, with skin like polished ebony and eyes that glowed like embers. Unlike the other roving folk who passed through the village twice every year, these travellers brought an air of mystery and unease. In the marketplace, beneath looming crooked houses, they told fortunes for silver, their fingers adorned with rings that seemed to move of their own accord. What was the land of these wanderers, none could tell, but it was seen that they were given to strange prayers, their voices a low, unsettling hum that seemed to make the very air vibrate. The leader of the caravan was a sight to behold, wearing a headdress with two twisted horns and a curious disc betwixt them, gleaming with an otherworldly light. The plague had not been kind to him, yet had left him this small, furry thing to mitigate his sorrow. The kitten's fur was blacker than the deepest night, its eyes two pinpricks of starlight. On the third morning of the wanderer's stay in Ulthar, as mist clung to the cobblestones like ghostly fingers, Menes could not find his kitten. His cries echoed through the silent streets. And as he sobbed aloud in the marketplace, certain villagers, their faces etched with worry, told him of the old man and his wife, and of sounds heard in the night, sounds that chilled the blood and haunted dreams. And when he heard these things, young Menes' sobbing gave place to meditation, his small face growing still as stone, and finally to prayer. The air around him seemed to thicken, as if the very fabric of reality held its breath. And so young Menes stretched out his arms toward the sun and prayed in a tongue no villager could understand, though indeed the villagers did not try very hard to understand. For their attention was mostly taken up by the sky and the odd shapes the clouds were assuming. Swirling mists formed feline faces, their eyes seeming to follow the villagers' every move. It was very peculiar, but as the little boy uttered his petition, there seemed to form overhead the shadowy, nebulous figures of exotic things, of hybrid creatures crowned with horn-flanked discs. That night, as darkness crept over Ulthar like a thick, inky blanket, the wanderers left.
Those dark-skinned devils. They've cursed us, I tell you. Cursed the caravan and the little boy they have.
The old couple, you fools. Have you not seen the malice in their eyes when a cat crosses their path? They're the ones behind this, mark my words.
Still, no one durst complain to the sinister couple. Even when little Atal, the innkeeper's son, vowed that he had at twilight seen all the cats of Ulthar in that accursed yard under the trees.
I saw them, I did, pacing very slowly and solemnly in a circle around the cottage, two abreast, as if in performance of some unheard-of rite of beasts.
The villagers did not know how much to believe from so small a boy. And though they feared that the evil pair had charmed the cats to their death, they preferred not to chide the old cotter till they met him outside his dark and repellent yard.
We must find them, Matal. We must find the cats and my kitten.
We will, Menes, but be careful. The old couple, they're not right. There's something wrong about them.
Oh, my dear listeners, as the moon rose high over Ulthar, casting long, twisted shadows that danced like macabre puppets, young Menes and Atal crept ever closer to the old couple's cottage.
Menes, look! The ground, there are strange markings everywhere. They're moving.
My kitten. I can hear it mewing, but it sounds wrong.
Well, well, what have we here? Two little mice, scurrying where they don't belong. How delightful. Grrr.
Perhaps they'd like to join their feline friends, my dear? In the shadow realm where we've banished those wretched creatures.
No, please let them go. Let my kitten go, please.
Menes, run! We have to get out of here.
But escape was not to be. With a wave of the old man's hand and a sound like tearing flesh, thorny vines erupted from the ground, writhing like serpents. They encircled Menes, cutting off his retreat, their thorns glistening with malice. Oh, my dear listeners, in that moment of utter despair, young Menes felt something stir within him, a memory as ancient as the stars themselves. And from his lips poured forth a chant in a tongue long forgotten by mortal men. The air around him began to shimmer and twist, reality itself bending to the will of his otherworldly prayer. The old couple's malevolent grins faltered, their clawed hands retreating ever so slightly. But Menes paid them no heed. His eyes, once filled with terror, now blazed with an inner light that seemed to pierce the very fabric of our world. Here a massive feline head with eyes of lightning. There a sleek, sinewy body of mist and moonlight. The heavens themselves seemed to purr with ancient power.
No, this cannot be our magic, our beautiful darkness.
But her cries were drowned out by a sound that sent shivers down the spines of all who heard it. A yowl, starting soft but growing in volume and number until it seemed the very air vibrated with feline fury. And at their head, a tiny black kitten, its midnight fur shimmering with starlight.
You came back. You all came back.
In a whirlwind of fur and claws, cosmic justice was meted out. The old couple's screams echoed through Ulthar, slowly fading into the night, never to be heard again. As dawn broke, the wanderer's caravan departed Ulthar. Menes sat at the back of a wagon, his kitten purring contentedly in his arms. The village behind them seemed somehow brighter, as if a dark veil had been lifted. And from that day forth, no man in Ulthar dared harm a cat. For who knows what ancient powers might be watching, waiting, ready to pounce from the shadows of eternity?